Alright, let's see. I always gotta check if it's actually recording. Sure is. Anyways, hi guys. Welcome to my channel. Pix here from server 1036. We are a 2.5-year-old server at this point, and I just today, I guess, started a YouTube channel. I've been watching a lot of YouTube from other YouTubers, and it's very helpful, so I wanted to create one of my own, because I feel like this will help my alliance, and I think this is one way a lot of YouTubers kind of get into YouTubing. Anyways, I've been around for 2.5 years. I'm at 9.8 billion, and one of the bigger keeps on our server. So, what do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about Blazons, and the way that I do my Blazons, or approach Blazons, and kind of teach you a little bit about it. Because I feel like a lot of people don't know the potential or the use of, Blazons in general. And they've been around for quite some time already. And I can see how they can be confusing, and I was kind of overwhelmed myself in the beginning. So once it finally clicked for me, it's like, oh my god, this is really easy and so helpful, and there are some fantastic buffs. So how do I go about that? Here, let's go into Blazons. You have 4 types: ground, ranged, mounted, and siege. And each individual has offensive and a defensive set, currently in ranged. So Valor is the offensive set, and then Compassion is a defensive set. How I have it organized for me to make it easier in compartmentalization is I have, for ground, ranged, and siege, I have it on 1 and 3. 1 is my defensive set, and 3 is my offensive set. And then for mounted, I have 3 still being the offensive set, so to make that universal across all 4, and number 3, that's my offensive set. And then since mounted does not have a defensive set, I switched it over to 2, kind of separate that, and that's my monster set. So yeah, how do you know which one is which, right? Let's go back to ranged. So this is defensive. I even called it that, so you can actually change that yourself. You go into the edit, the pencil, and then you have your 3 sets right here, and you can change the name. So I called number 3 offense and number 1 defense. Number 2, I tried a combination and definitely did not work on it. As you can see, it's in level 1, 1, and here I think I used one that I developed before and I didn't like it. Anyways, so yeah, you can change the name in case you forget which one is which, but to be honest, you should never forget which one is which, because you have it clearly written in your buffs. So since I'm on Compassion, which is the defensive set, you can read it just by the buffs that you get. So here it says, when defending, enemy ground troop attack. When defending, enemy mounted troop defense. Defending, ranged troop attack. So these are 2 debuffs and 1 buff for your troops. But these are only active in defense. That being said, they're active when your troops are defending your city, as well as when your troops are defending somebody else's city. So meaning when you are reinforcing, or you're defending, defending and reinforcing a building on the battlefield, or an SBS. So always in defense. For offense, it also tells you clearly that it's when attacking, or attacking, ranged troop attack, defense HP. So these are, again, 2 debuffs and 1 buff. That that's how you differentiate which set is which. You just read what the first two words are, and it tells you if it's offense or defense. Valor, compassion, justice, and sacrifice. Yeah. And then soul and honor, and humility and honesty. So you have 4 types, and all 4 types have 2 sets. My strategy in Blazons is to create 1 complete set for each. So only defense, only offense, and that's it. I don't mix it. It takes too many Blazons, and as you can see, I'm not even fully developed in my defense here, and I'm probably more developed than others. That being said, when I go and look through my Blazons and I want to upgrade, let's actually go through the steps here real quick, and bear with me. So what do? Should be pretty quick, just by showing it, quicker than if I was to do it for real. So I'm only opening 10 Blazons to make it a faster video, but hopefully should still show you what I mean. Okay, just opening 10. You get a random selection of attributes here. Cannot determine that. And then you go back into your Blazons. And how I usually do it, so you can either do it in your, let's go back, in your items, and then you have a Blazon tab. And I don't like doing it here. You can see these are the new ones. They don't have a lock. These one have a lock. So if I were to select a Blazon filter, I think that's how it gets locked in place. And a lot of other players have gotten really frustrated about that, and I just don't do it that way. I feel like I have a better oversight on what I have and what I want, which troop I'm at, and all that when I'm in here. Because I'm constantly reminded that, oh, I'm in ground. And then I can also, well, I guess you can see that in there too, which one is offense, which one is defense. Anyways, that's just the way that I like doing it. And you can do as you wish. So, how I go through that. It should be pretty quick since I only opened 10. Bear with me. I do it just in order. So start with ground, start at the very top with a shadow. Look through, go and change, see if there's a new one. No, there's not. So these all have a golden lock, meaning I locked them before. So these are set in place unless I change the lock to gray, and then it can be used for upgrading. So this one is not new, or there's nothing new. There's nothing new. Oh, there's one new one. And then 2 new ones. So I look, when there's new ones, I look, do I like it? Do I not like it? So these are both justice, meaning they're both offensive. So I click on it, and I do not like it, and I do not like it. What am I looking for? So when I look for Blazons, what I'm looking for is, my preferred one is the universal one. It's the ground troop defense. Ground troop defense, ground troop attack, HP, whichever one. But it's the just a pure troop defense, attack, HP. Why is that? Because this is universal. This is always active. This is active in offense and defense. Yes, this is my defensive set, right? It's sacrifice. But I may not always have the time to switch my Blazons around. Like, let's say I set a rally, or I'm joining a rally with whatever troops, and the opponent is setting a rally or soloing me. That means offense and defense is happening simultaneously, right? So having a universal buff is always the best to look for. This is good for Blazons. This is good to look for in your Senate. This is good to look for in your seals. So I always like to look for universal buffs. In Blazons, as you can see, I think I have better examples, so I go through that maybe in a little while. Let's go through the process as to how I do that, and where was I? I think I was farther. I think I was here. Yes, I was. Okay. Next one. Don't like this. Troop low training capacity. No, thank you. There's nothing new. Nothing new. Ranged. One new. Do I like it? It's defending. It's compassion. So, just to show you, I might throw it out later down the road, but why not? This is a double. It is not universal, I get that, but it's still PvP. It's still helping me in PvP. Since compassion is the defensive set, as you can see over here, it's one defending, one defending, one defending. I might lock that in place. Maybe I'll use it down the road. Or maybe I have some better ones down here. Yeah, kind of do. Anyways, but this just shows you that there are some ones that I do keep around. Like, if you look at this one, for example, it's a universal, it's great, but then my third attribute is monster. And then the fourth one is kind of nice again. It's a universal. So I might work on that at some point just to see if I can get a better one. But yeah. Shadow. Next one. Nothing new. Nothing new. Nothing new. Nothing new. As you can see, since I only opened 10, this is pretty quick. Mounted. Because the only thing I'm looking for is the gray lock. If it's gray, I will stop and look at it. This one is grayed out because I just don't like it, or I have something better. It's honor, and it's defense, and then, okay. I'm okay with using that at some point. Okay, that new one, attack and load. Don't like it. Where's shadow? Next one. Don't like it. Don't like it. Nothing new. Mounted troop on monster, and it's honor. So since this is mounted, sure, monster would be nice, but it's the wrong set. It's not soul. Honor is offense. It's when attacking, and soul is the monster. So this just does not match. So I'm not going to lock that in place. Wind. Two new ones, and I don't like either. Sage, last one. You will realize pretty quickly that this takes a lot longer usually. Don't like this. Nothing new. Nothing new. Nothing new. Honesty, siege on monster. Heck no. Alright, so I looked through all 24 of them. And when you look through them, you don't need to switch between offense and defense in that case, because when you look at it, and you look at something, let's see, here's level 1, let's do that. Ugh. Oh, siege load. Yeah, sure. I have a plundering march. So that's in progress. Anyways, so you don't need to look through, or you don't need to switch between the sets when you do that. necessarily because you can see, oh, this is honesty and marching, so this matches. Honesty is the offensive one. If you are ever not sure, you just go over on the arrow and then it says when attacking, when attacking. Alright, that's offensive. Humility is the other one. It's defending, it's defensive. So this matches, and I have locked it in place for future use, possibly. And if I eventually don't want to use it, if I'm super happy with my Blazon up here, I may unlock all of that. If I have an offensive set and a defensive set for this specific one, the specific tile, the shadow one, then I will unlock them and use them for upgrade. But right now, you know, just be on the safe side, save some of them, and save them for a rainy day. So yeah, now I can upgrade something. What do I want to upgrade? Let's go marching and reinforcing. Ground and rally. Alright, so I'm gonna go with this one. I will upgrade because I opened 10, right? And I don't want to use them or want to have to look through all of them again. Next time I open and go into my item inventory and look through all of them again. So I have core Blazons. I'm not going to use them, so I'll auto select. I thought it says you core Blazons first. Confirm. 0. There you go. I want none of these. Just want my level 1s. So yeah, so that they're out of the way, I'm not going to look through them again. I know I don't like them, and I'm just going to use them to upgrade something. I know I did not upgrade all the way to the very top, and that's fine, but it just, you know, at least adds something. And if this was my entire Blazon inventory, that's just what it would look like, even if I didn't upgrade it all the way. That's how I would leave it. So yeah, I think this kind of concludes. Oh, something else I wanted to kind of share with you guys in regards to Blazons. So what should you focus on for each individual type? Because focusing on both at the same time can be pretty hard. Because yes, you can select a full set of all of them at once, have it at level 1, and that's great because you already get the set buff. Alright, so let's start with that. So if you are really just starting out with your Blazons, and you don't know which one to look for, make sure you get one complete set and you like it, kind of. And if you don't have a good one just yet, focus on the set. Because the set attributes, they are solid, you know, they are not variable. It's always going to be -5%, -5%, and +10% for the offensive set in Siege, right? So if you, let's change this, if you selected, I'm in honesty, change, I can change this over to make it look, I don't even know what I'm selecting, right? Maybe I like them, maybe I don't. So honesty here. So they all are at level 1, and that's totally fine. Honesty, change. So they're all at level 1. Yes, their individual buffs are super weak, 0.6, and here I only have load. Sorry guys. Anyways, like I said, this is for my looting march. Anyways, so these buffs I still have. So if you don't have a good single attribute, and necessarily. If you even have a mixed one, you can still use it. If it's the only one that you have right now, if you're just starting out, look for what set you're going for. Go for the offense or the defense, whichever works for you, so that you get at least the set buffs. You don't need to level it up in order to get more buffs here, because that's just not how it works. So the leveling up really just works individually, right? The leveling up just happens for the individual tile. So go for the set buffs. If you don't get universal, see, this one is a mixed one. I don't even know why I have it. Probably should unlock that, but it's a good example. So because I wanted to go for the honesty set, I didn't care, because I didn't have anything better. Let's say it this way, I didn't have anything better, so I went with this one. I went with something that was available, gave me the offensive set, and locked it in just so that I have it, and it doesn't get used until I have something better, right? Until you open more Blazons, get something better, then you can replace it. That's totally fine. And you don't have to level it up, and once you unlock it, you can use it for upgrading something else. This one I could use down the road. This is totally fine. This is offensive and offensive. But yeah, it gives me the set buff. So if you're really just starting out, go for the sets. You can do that for your offensive set as well as your defensive set. So this one I chose honesty. I could do the same thing, go through all 6, select humility, and have the same thing. So yeah. And then once you have the sets, the set that you want, and then also the single tiles that you're happy with, like I am with the universal, then you can upgrade it, right? Kind of how I showed. So yeah, sets always come first, then upgrading. What else? Oh, so yeah, I would definitely recommend having an offensive and defensive set, even if it's just for the set buffs. If you have an alliance that is on Discord, and maybe they are vocal, kind of like I am, in regards to making sure that you're well prepared, is I'm also one of the main rally leaders. But let's say, Battlefield is a little slower pace, and you discuss, it's like, all right, let's set a ground rally on this person, and you make sure it's like, all right, let me go to on Discord, I say, okay, changing my Blazons to offense, changing my monarch gear to ground, and changing my castle decoration also to ground. So I'm not going to change that, but I go through my castles, change that. Yeah, I just make sure that others are prepared too, because in the heat of the moment you kind of can forget. Not that they never remember themselves, sometimes they remind even me to do that. So it's just thinking out loud on the battlefield. So Discord is really useful for that. I just make sure, okay, changing my Blazons to whatever we rally, right? Changing my monarch gear to whatever we rally. So always utilize the most buffs in Battlefield, and make sure your team does too. So this is, let's say for ground, being or thinking out loud is kind of important in the sense that ground is really good in defending. So when I enter Battlefield, I generally have ground set on defense, because I reinforce a lot of my teammates, and then we don't rally as many ground rallies, more so siege and archers, and I mean, ground is good in offense and defense, but when I enter battlefield, I have it on defense. But then when we do have a ground rally, it would be good to switch it over to ground. So thinking out loud, it's like, all right, changing my ground to, you know, offense. Kind of reminds everyone. And maybe even at that point, the other team, the opponent is already zeroed that they don't really attack your lines anymore, and you don't need to reinforce as strongly anymore. You get more points from offense rather than from defending. So for ground, good to focus on offense and defense. I initially was really focused on offense, and then I learned it's like, well, you know what, ground is actually pretty good in defending, and I'm pretty lacking behind in ground defense. So I've been working more on ground defense. For ranged, I am pretty good on my offense, and I didn't really bother much on my defense. This is still my least priority, I feel like, because ranged is our main attacking march, and archers are not really the march that I send for reinforcing, unless it's spot reinforcement. I'm not saying that they're terrible in defense, but they're not the best, right? They can be helpful, of course, but I have that mainly on offense. So I think offense is the best one to focus on first. And then for mounted, depending on what you are, if you are a monster hunter in your alliance, definitely go for your soul set, for your monster set. That was, I think, the first one that I maxed out. And then I started focusing on PvP, because that kind of channeled the knowledge that I didn't have. Let's say this way, because I was still pretty overwhelmed by the Blazons. That it's like, oh, I understand the monster Blazons. Let me just focus on monsters, right? And then once I understood it more and more, I ventured into the other Blazons. So for mounted, it's good to focus on both, or depending on what you do. If you're a monster hunter, do monsters. If you are PvP, of course, do the offense, and there's no defense. For siege, I think both is important, offense and defense, depending on well, that's okay. Let me reel it back in, because yes, both is important, but it also depends on your build. If you are trap keep, small keep, ghost keep, whatever, defense is not important whatsoever. For me, it is important because I have siege in my keep that are defending my main city, so I need defensive Blazons to help me defend my own city. But offense is really, really helpful, because we have tons of siege rallies. So I definitely focus on both. And then when I enter battlefield, I kind of gauge, is it a very aggressive team? Should I be on defense? Or are we the stronger team? Should I be on offense? So I kind of gauge it in the first 5 minutes. And if I need, I guess, 10 to 15 minutes, if, you know, they look weak, but then they are actually pretty strong, I go into my keep quickly and switch it over to defense if necessary. So yeah, I think this may actually cover it now. Sorry, it took me a minute to get this video together, but hopefully it was helpful for you guys. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave a comment, and I'll see if I can answer it there for you. And yeah, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next round.